all about you.
So I'll give a brief introduction today. Good evening and welcome to the November 21st meeting of the City of Beacon Zoning Board of Appeals. My name is Jordan Haug and I'm the chairman of this board. Tonight we only have two other board members here tonight, which is important, and I will get to why. We are also joined by the city building inspector, Bruce Flowers, our city attorney tonight, Jen, and our zoning secretary, Mercedes. Thank you all for being here. The application materials that will be discussed tonight including any proposed resolutions and any other documents are available on the city's website. Also on the city's website is a link to the rules and procedures of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Just to briefly touch on why it is important that there's only three of us here. Three of us on the board are a quorum of 5 total board members, and you always need 3 yes votes in order to have a positive appeal to the zoning board. So if there's 3 people here, you need all 3 people to vote yes. If there's 4 people, you need 3 people. If there's 5 people, you need 3 people. So that is important for an application that's being heard tonight, in that if you present and what I will likely do is ask you if you'd like us to vote, and if you would like us to vote and you don't get all 3 votes, then maybe you should ask for an adjournment into next month when there are more opportunities for people to vote yes. So we'll see how, I think you should just pay attention to how the hearing goes and then decide what you want to do. And then just to briefly go over the factors of an area variance, which tonight's application is about. It's a balancing test to weigh the benefits that are required. And the 5 factors that we are able to consider are: will an undesirable change be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties be created by the granting of the variance? Will the proposed action compromise the character of the neighborhood? Can the benefit sought by the applicant be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance? 4, is the requested variance substantial? That's interesting. Will the proposed variance have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district? And then my favorite is the alleged difficulty self-created. So that is a balancing test, as I said, and those are the requirements for an area variance. With that being said, procedurally, has everyone been able to review the minutes of the October meeting, and are there any comments or concerns about them?
I reviewed them and I have no comments.
All right. If there are no comments, can I have a motion to accept the minutes of the October meeting?
Motion to accept.
Motion by Montos.
Second.
Second by Stowe. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And then I will take a motion to open the public hearing on agenda item number 1.
Motion open.
Motion by Montos.
Second.
Second by Stowe. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Are you the applicant? Please come to the podium and state your name and your address. And
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Hoffman. I am at 12 Coin Hill Road, and I'm applying to finish a detached garage that has a space on top that I want to make into just heat and air condition, and put in a toilet and a slop sink, not even a half a bath, so that I can store my canvases and paint. And I'm an amateur, I'm a retired social worker, and I took up art during the pandemic, so it's basically just for me during the day or my grandchildren to do art projects in this space above the garage instead of in the house. That's all. So I just need it heated and air conditioned. And there's as you see in the plans, there's just there's an open wall space to be able to store all the art stuff. So it's really for storage, and it's just, that's it. It's going to have a table. I guess reading this, I didn't realize that having something like this would, would have, seems like a higher bar than if I was applying for a dwelling. But it's not I'll only be there during the day, so.
Good.
And maybe not every day.
Will you have potential customers or?
Never,
clients?
no, it's very private, it's just for me, it's just really, it's just to sort of sit and paint or do arts and crafts, and it's just another space to be in, that's not in the house, or to have, I'm just gonna have a table and art supplies for myself and for my little grandchildren, that's it. I have 2, that's it.
Bruce, question for you. For someone who is, I guess for an application like this, what triggers the need for a variance? What triggers the need for a variance on a broad level?
So this application, the trigger is they were proposing to do this studio on the 2nd floor. I think I attached it to the denial letter, section 223-14, which addresses detached garage and accessory buildings, lays out the conditions of what they can use that space for. And with the application, they've met everything except for the fact that this proposed space is on the top floor. So as long, and also with this, the half bathroom is key as well, because as long as they're just putting the toilet and sink in there, it's not going to be, at some point, going to be considered an accessory dwelling unit.
Mm-hmm.
If they were to ever go and convert this to an accessory dwelling unit, they'd have to go in front of the planning board.
Right. What,
It's a toilet in a room with a door. It's not even a half a bath.
You just talk
And
into
then
the mic.
As you see in the plans, there's a slop sink just for, to clean art supplies. That's it.
Bruce, what would be a permitted use by right on a 2nd floor in an area like this?
By right would be storage only.
Storage, okay.
Storage only. And that's the way they built it. This is a brand-new house. It was constructed over the past 9 months. When the builder had come in with the plans, he was made aware that that's all it was supposed to be, was storage only.
Okay.
Bruce,
If
can I
may,
follow up?
It will be storage. I mean, I set up an area for the canvas, so in a certain respect, everything stays there. I'm not sending things from there. I'm not, there's not going to be any traffic.
Bruce, is it the
No
bathroom
kitchen?
that's driving this?
No, I
Is it
think,
the plumbing in the bathroom that's driving this?
It's actually the use of the space to some degree, because they're going to use it as a studio, not just as storage. The proposal was for
But
for an art studio.
but studio not intended for public, but studio intended just for
Right,
private?
even for private use. Even if it was a home office, it'd be the same situation.
Got it.
Yeah.
Bruce, you mentioned the ADU route. That's an alternative that she could take?
I didn't hear the question.
You'd mentioned the regulations around ADUs.
Yes.
She could potentially take that route and go to the planning board, right? And say, I want to put in this
She could,
space.
Yeah, in the future, if she decided to, yeah, she could go to the planning board and get an approval for an ADU. And at that point, that would give her the ability to go ahead and put in either a bathtub or shower or something like
And
that.
use it as a studio in the meantime or whatever.
Yeah, correct.
Sure.
and then Jen, as far as restrictions that we could apply to an acceptance, can we restrict it to non-commercial use? Is that?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that would be an appropriate and related condition, that it's to be used only for the personal use of the owner of the property or the occupant, not for commercial purposes or for customers.
And not a living space, in the sense that someone
And
would
certainly not an
live there.
apartment, yeah, there would be no approval. If you were to grant the variance, that wouldn't allow them to use it as an apartment.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add before we open it up to the public?
I didn't catch that, though.
You should talk into the microphone, please.
Better for me to have as a dwell, I didn't catch what you were asking.
We were just discussing with our attorney if when granting a variance, we can impose restrictions sometimes. And so what I asked was, could we impose a restriction that only grants the variance for the purposes of you using it personally, not for any commercial use, which you said, you'd stated was your intent.
Personal.
Right, but if we don't actually put that restriction in, then you aren't actually restricted to that. So we were asking if we could do that. So my question to you, though, is do you have anything to add before we open this up to the public discussion?
No, just that it is for personal. I mean, I'm not going to have open studio. I'm not going to have any public there. It's my private space.
Understood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone from the public would like to speak on this topic? Yep, come on up. If you could just state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is August Eriksson. I live and own 98 Neville's Avenue. Number one, thanks for your service. I know you all do this for your health and for the high wages. I would just totally support this variance. I fully appreciate the rules that are in place and the fact that they need to be there to protect, sort of a number of possible scenarios. And I think in this case, it seems like what Elizabeth is asking to do frankly, doesn't affect me or my neighbors in any way, other than the fact that we know it makes her happier to do some art. And hopefully we're an art-supporting town. So that's it.
Thank you.
I vote yes.
All right. Would anyone else like to speak on this application that's here in the audience today? All right.
Please do. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Come on. Yes, please. If you could just state your name and address for the record, that would be awesome.
Paula Dowd, I live at 50 Mountain Lane, and I'm for this variance. The reason I came tonight was I was so surprised that it was a restriction. I thought, well, what is the problem? And is it a safety thing or something? But in any event, I mean, we come to the Hudson Valley and, here for the nature and the views and the art, and it just seems so natural to want to use the upper level. I mean, in my bathroom, I look out and I have views. I just totally support this, and don't think there's any reason why one wouldn't be able to put some electricity in a half a bath in the top of your garage. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Suzanne Sloan-White, 949 Wolcott Avenue. I am coming here not even knowing about this. I was here for the 925 Wolcott Avenue fiasco, but that has been deferred until December, so we'll pick that up back up for Christmas. I completely concur that this should be allowed. I'm an artist. I came back up here from Brooklyn. I used to live in warehouses, and I can tell you right now that a toilet and a slop sink, that is not a livable situation at all, whether it be on the ground level or the second level. It's strictly to keep a clean and maintain studio, and that's it. It's just it's an absolute integral part of the process. So I'm completely in agreement.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, so we just have two letters I'll read in to the record because there's only two on this. One is from, I'm going to butcher the last name, Jessica Eriksmorsen, also from 98 Niels, yeah. First, thank you for your service. I'll skip that part. Second, I'm writing for you to say yes, I support the variance asked by my next door neighbor. She'd like to add plumbing work above her space in the garage. It wouldn't convenience her in any way. And then there is an email that was received from Andrea and Terry Davis, residing at 20 Coin Hill Road. They're writing on behalf of this application. They want to ensure the variance is approved for personal use only, not for commercial business use, where paint classes are held, for example. And they inquire, how can we ensure that the intent of the variance is for personal use? And then how is the enforcement enforced? And well, the answer to that is that's why Bruce has an office. Thank you for your service, Bruce. If it is for personal use, they're in support of it. And that is the only that's the only email we received on that. Is that correct, Mercedes? Yeah. Okay. All right. On that, I will ask for a motion to close the public hearing on agenda item number 1.
So moved.
Motion by Stowe.
Second?
Second by Montos. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. And then I will go to the resolution. Maybe.
I have a hard copy if you need it.
I got it. Thank you, though. All right, so we will go through the factors as normal. As to whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the area variance. Montos.
No, I don't think a detriment will be created at all.
Stowe?
I agree.
Yeah, I think, you know, I don't think it'll be affected. I think with the restriction discussed, it won't affect the character of the neighborhood at all. As to whether the benefit the applicant seeks can be achieved through another method feasible for the applicant to pursue that does not require the area variance.
There is that possibility of getting an ADU, but it winds up potentially in the same situation, which is we, the town, would have to approve that. And this may be the simpler course of it, is granting the variance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that at all. My initial reaction would be, why not the ground level, but that'll probably take away from the cars, so that probably wouldn't be an option. I think this is fine.
Yeah, I think feasibility, this seems the most feasible for me. As to whether the requested variance is substantial.
I don't see it as substantial, especially with, if we put the condition on for non-commercial use.
I agree completely.
I also agree. As to whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district.
Again, I would say with the condition of non-commercial use, personal, private, residential only, I don't think it'll affect the neighborhood.
Yeah, there's going to be no additional traffic or, I mean, she lives there already, so.
Yep, I agree with that. And then as to whether the alleged difficulty is self-created.
Well, given it's your favorite one, and I don't want to disagree with the chairman, of course it's self-created. Everything's self-created.
It's always self-created.
Almost.
Almost.
Almost always. And then finally, is the requested variance the minimum variance necessary and adequate to preserve and protect the character of the neighborhood and health, safety, and welfare of the community?
I think so. It's a pretty minimal request here. Nothing substantial from
Right.
my point of view.
I don't think anyone in the neighborhood's going to notice.
I would agree with the restriction. So with that said, there are normal restrictions, and so I'll just ask the applicant, the normal restrictions that are placed on a variance is, one, that all of your fees are paid with the city for the application, and then two, that a building permit is obtained within 6 months, and then all construction is complete on the project, and the CO is granted within 24 months. Are those restrictions that you're able to? Great. And then also, we are going to restrict you to the variance to just for personal use, so there won't be any commercial use allowed, which you said was not your intent anyway, so you'll accept that restriction as well? Great, and then, so I will take a motion to grant the variance with those 3 restrictions.
Motion to grant the variance with the 3 restrictions as stated?
Motion by Montos.
Second.
Second by Stowe, and I'll take the roll. Montos?
Yes.
Stowe?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. Congratulations. Just a note on the other agenda item that was adjourned, just to update the public. The city has entered into a contract with a person, an entity, to review the applicant's submission of their financials. So we hope to have a full review of that, critique, I guess, of that, and our own ability to parse through that information within a couple weeks, and that will be prepared, hopefully, by the December meeting, which is when that item is being heard. So I think that that will be a meeting that the public should be at if they intend to speak on the item again, and I think that that will be, it could be the decisive meeting. It will be an important meeting, and I know it will be close to the Christmas holiday, but just wanted to give everyone an update on that, because I know there's a lot of people interested. We received a lot of correspondence on that, and I am reading all of them, and I know it's a hot topic in the city. With that being said, I will ask for a motion to adjourn and let me just, I'm sorry, Mercedes, can I just have a date for the December meeting? 19th? So it'll be December 19th will be the next meeting, and that's when that will be at. And I will just ask for a motion to adjourn the November meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. Boy, that's the shortest meeting ever.
I'll come here.
Thank you.
I bet you.